Okay, so there was just an understanding at the time that the there was a strata in comedy, and that's the way it was.
Well, it always been stand-ups. Always male stand-ups, unless you're Phyllis Diller, right, who's not pretty, right, and has a crazy hair.
And uglied herself up.
Exactly.
Could
Who
buy
was
it.
the heavy one?
Toady Fields.
Yeah. I mean, so you could be funny if you weren't a model, right? Yeah, exactly.
I can remember being on stage when I was doing stand-up, and somebody said, "You're too pretty to do comedy," and I looked around, not really understanding what had been said, and there was a bunch of guys up in the balcony. I said, "Am I too pretty to do comedy?" And they went, "No." So again, butt of the joke.
Yeah.
And felt comfortable with that in a weird way.
Yes. Well, because all of our role models were men. So, right? I mean, that's why
in a man's world, in a man's profession.
Absolutely. And still, yes, absolutely. Everything was still, even though, we were making some strides, but gosh.
Down with the patriarchy. No, I'm kidding. But we didn't know, it's not that we didn't know any better, although I would say that when you guys came up with Femprov originally, that was like kind of a major step.
Absolutely. I mean, it was huge, but it was also because we didn't think about it. We just went, hey, we want to play, and we're women, and there's women's night. All the stars converged, and we started getting to play.
Right.
So, and I'm so glad that we didn't make it a female thing.
Right.
Sort of getting back at the men or whatever. It was just so this is how we can play. And we don't want to play with you guys anyway. So,
well,
have fun on your own, boys, because the women are here.
We brought our own brand of comedy, or our own type of comedy. We never played on being feminist because that was a dirty word back then.
Also, it's not funny. I'm sorry.
Well, and it was a dirty word. There was a
yeah.
lot of context with that just turned people off immediately because it was threatening the
still feminist is a dirty word to people. It's the 21st century. Hello.
So I'm impressed that despite the odds, despite the prevailing, conventional wisdom of the times, somehow we stepped through the void and came up with this way to get ourselves on stage, to show our own stuff off, and actually we're quite funny in the process.
Oh.
I really do think that people were laughing with us as opposed to at us.
Oh, absolutely. And you can always tell the difference because we're smart enough to know that. But if you go from let's say 99% male stand-up, 99% male improv, right? And the fact that they tell us you can't let two women be on stage together alone because they won't be funny through all odds.
That's
just saying we want to play, and not even to fix all that, because you can't fix all that. It's just that this is how we can do what we want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was fuel to the fire. The embers were there, and then all of that sort of no you can't. It's like, watch us.
This is how we can.
Yeah, right.
And you can't stop us, I don't think. Ha ha.
And again, I don't think we had any sort of like manifesto.
No, we had no agenda except that we wanted to perform, period. And we already had, because it's hard enough getting a gig, right? So at least if it's built in, it's like Women's Night, we're like, oh, okay, well, that's us. So how do we do that? And that's how it all happened.
Right. I know also in the years that followed, when people were trying to catch up with our groundbreaking ideas, but that, women stand-ups rarely got to perform together because you could only have one woman on the bill, right?
Yeah.
And there might be an all-woman show, but it was maybe once every couple of years because they just, even club owners didn't believe that that was a draw
Oh.
early on, right?
Yeah.
Because again, this prevailing attitude, women aren't funny. You know, I heard that so much
Yeah.
that it was, I think maybe I started to believe it, you know, for, you know, what, that they believed it ultimately. I mean,
Yeah.
they truly did believe
Well,
it.
also, if you hear it enough, you know, and aren't real good about keeping things in check, you can start believing stuff like that.
Right, exactly.
So-
And again, there was no percentage in fighting back or screaming about it, or yeah, you just figured out how to do a
you
workaround.
can't get anything by doing that,
Right.
except for heartache, you know. So,
Back in the day.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, you know, who knows? Even now, I mean, gosh, because sadly the ERA never passed. You know, there's still a lot of stuff we need. Plus, with the Supreme, don't even get me
Yeah,
started.
don't do that.
I can't. We did it. We had a great time, and
Uh-huh.
I don't regret anything.